DragonCon, Crispy here, and I'm with our friends Dominique and Frankie. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Your first DragonCon.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know as convention experience as a whole. How many conventions have y'all been doing? Is this a relatively new thing for y'all? Or no?
We've gone to San Diego and New
Couple
York.
times, and New York,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Fan Expo.
And
Fan
Toronto.
Expo. Yeah, Toronto. Yeah.
But this is our first DragonCon.
It's going to be an exciting. I say this not as a promoter for my brand. I say this honestly. I hear our show is crazy compared to some of those. So
And that's what
good.
a lot of Twitterers were telling me that as well. They were
Yeah.
like, it's the drunk con.
Yeah.
okay.
Mardi Gras.
Yeah, we call it the
Mardi
Nerdy
Gras.
Gras, is what we typically do.
Okay,
We actually had a jazz band parading through the hotels yesterday. Yeah, we're like, people call us Mardi Gras, we're going to own it.
DragonCon.
Let's do it. And we did it. So
here for
I'm glad you guys kind of got, I don't know if warned is the right word, but prefaced. We'll say
Yeah,
warned. You
yeah,
got
yeah,
warned.
Yeah.
So what are fun things that you're here, obviously, to do promotion for the Expanse in your panels, but what are some fun things that just in general you are looking forward to do while you're here? Do you even have a plan? Just taking it in?
I mean, we're so chock-a-block with
We're
Expanse stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
if we'll get to see much of Atlanta.
Y'all are pretty. Yeah,
Dom
yeah.
wants to go out, but I want to
I want
sleep.
to go to the strip
so-
clubs.
I get with that.
I want to go to the strip clubs and just like...
We know the ones around the corner to tell you about,
Okay.
but at the same time, that's my plan too. It's like, oh, I'm done for the day. Good night, world.
Yeah.
So I've hit that
It's like
point.
I've flown halfway across the world, so
You've got the good reason.
Yeah.
So she'll try to drag you out though.
I'll try and get you to the...
That's right.
Yeah, maybe
is my
maybe
motion
one
for
night
strip
I'll
club.
do it.
I just want to like flick those ones.
We should
Yeah.
we should do that. We should.
There
do
you
that.
go. All right. So I've got that on film. If you don't, I'll.
Yeah.
I'll
Oh
check in.
no.
It's going to be like broadcast around here, but yeah, okay.
Hey kids. So what are some general fandom stuff? Did you? I mean, obviously you're in the genre industry now. Did you grow up, or as an adult, get hooked into anything nerdy, geeky? Like, if you weren't working here, how would you be partying? Like,
We're
what's
the
your thing?
two that have not had any genre of sci-fi
That's
in
fine.
our lives.
What are the things that you're into in general? Eddie McClintock and I from Warehouse 13 had a fantastic conversation about football. That's his geeky thing.
Oh,
So
for me,
anything.
So I wanted to be a pop star, right?
Yeah.
Like when I was like growing up, my thing was like, oh, I'm going to be like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that guy. And then, so basically, I would spend most of my youth flicking through MTV, watching music videos, musicals. Like my favorite film is West Side Story.
Fantastic.
So I was a bit more that way inclined.
Yeah.
And I used to watch all of that. And then as I got older, I'm like an indie film
Really?
girl. Like
Is there like
French.
a specific director or just the style, the French
Denis
stuff?
Villeneuve's one of my favorites.
Oh God, he's had a great couple of years.
Park Chan-wook, Joe Wright.
Yeah.
Who else do I love?
That's a pretty impressive list already,
That's
though.
kind of like
yeah.
where I'm at when it comes to watching films and stuff.
Yeah.
So when I got The Expanse, I was just like, oh, okay, sure. And
Yeah.
then gradually being on it, I feel like we've been more introduced into this world
Into
and
the
cons
scene.
and
Yeah,
sci-fi
yeah.
and genre and what it means for everyone. But I still feel very new to it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So.
Yeah.
What about you, Frank?
I guess I thought I didn't really want to, but I probably would have been an athlete because
Yeah,
that's sort of where I was headed.
You kind of had that
and
direction,
then
then
acting
it took
was
a turn.
saving grace because
Yeah.
I was just like, well, that's actually what I really like to do.
Yeah.
But my mum's really into sports, and I was kind of like, yeah, I'll do it. I'm all right at it,
Well,
sort of thing. But yeah, I always was really into art and creating and
What was your medium of choice then when it came to creation?
drama.
Just straight up drama?
Yeah. Well, I'm Samoan, so culturally there's always song and dance
Yeah.
or performance in that. But the older I get, the less I wanted to do that. It was sort of like a family thing.
Like that was cute when I was
Yeah,
a kid.
it was cute, and then
Too
it
old for
wasn't.
that now. I'm sorry.
But then I found drama in high school, and that
Yeah.
sort of like managed to manifest into a career, which
Was
has
there a
been great.
particular? I love that. So I want to know if there's a particular play or performance that made you go, no, that seems awesome. Was there like a defining moment that said this is the direction I want to
There
go?
was a defining moment. It didn't. I actually just got a job. I auditioned for the show back home in New Zealand, and it was my first audition, and I got it. And then it wasn't until I was about 18, and I was playing a pregnant teenager, and I had to do all these emotional things, and that's when I realized, like, oh, this sort of stuff really affects the emotional, I guess, psychology of humans, and that's when I started to understand it a bit more and really like it.
More of the mentality behind it. That's
Yeah,
what got you hooked.
yeah.
I'm a theater person. I love playing the villains. because
Sure.
That's fun.
because it's that kind of deal. It's like I get to get that
They're
stimulus.
fun
They're
rolls,
fun
though,
rolls.
yeah.
Yeah.
You chew on the scenery and all things like that. I love having people coming to me and go, like, I hated you so much, thank you.
Like,
Yes.
Like, I was like, all right,
My
I'll
work
take
is
that,
done
you
here.
know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the cerebral part of that is something I completely
Yeah, I
understand.
like that. And my favorite part of acting is honestly just in between action and cut.
Yeah,
Everything else is sort of necessary.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
the essential
But,
things.
yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But day to day though, then fun times on the set, active, busy set.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
god, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we've only just started being together, but
Yeah.
our
yeah.
set is awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
It's real fun.
we
One
have-
thing that, from as a fan outside looking in, you guys seem very much like a family.
oh, we are.
Yeah, and so that
I mean,
that reads to us as the audience
It's
as
rare
well.
that like a cast likes each other the
Yes.
way we do.
It's
And
sometimes it's just a job, but you guys
I'm not
celebrate
just saying that. It
yeah.
just we've happened to come
Yeah,
across
we
a
actually
group
like each other.
of people,
Yeah.
and we like each other, and we like hanging out. So when we see
Yeah.
each other, it is an actual joy.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
we're shooting, it's an actual joy. I mean, we have our
We have our
disagreements.
moments.
Of course, we're
because we
family.
are a family.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna bump heads.
For
We
real,
have
as a
our
You're
family.
gonna go pout in your corner and be like crying.
But
Yeah.
it's awesome, and our crew's
Yeah.
a part of that as well.
Yeah.
Like our crew in Toronto are just
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're amazing.
top notch.
Yeah.
I've heard
So-
good things. A friend of mine, Eldon Adair, was on the show.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so and I've heard nothing but phenomenal
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
from you guys. So while you're here at the convention, though, you are doing some panels
Yeah.
today on Friday, as I'm told. You have a panel talking about the show specifically,
Yeah.
Q&A for the Expanse.
Yep.
That's kind of going to be your generic ask us
it's
anything
just
about the
general.
show.
Yeah.
But you're also doing two panels that are really cool and dear to my heart. You're doing a science panel.
Yes, we are.
How sciencey are y'all actually? It's okay, I don't have to be.
Not really.
That's the right
Just
answer.
for
That's
like
fine.
the research that I've done, that I do very occasionally to
Yeah.
be an engineer.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be able to speak the speak, you do a little
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
homework, and you're
And
like,
actually, I played a role where I was a quantum physicist.
Okay.
So I did do quite a lot of research for
Wow.
that. So I'm probably more clued up in quantum than anything, actually.
that's going to be all right then.
Actually,
Exciting.
don't take that as gospel though. Everyone's like, so the cat,
Yeah.
Schrödinger. And I'm like,
It's official now. We have it on tape. I'm sorry. But I think the one thing that I found out that's really fascinating, a diversity panel
yes.
starring you. I was mentioning that, not again as a representative of the convention, diversity is huge. I say this as the token white guy right now, but I love that this is the conversation, this is the direction that we're going, and I think it's really cool that y'all are getting to be the ambassadors in this kind of environment here. This fandom is big on celebrating that, so
I
I,
mean,
hope
I
hope
don't-
that you pick up on that when
I
you're
don't
there.
think you can't talk about the Expanse without talking
You cannot. It's the
about the
humanity.
diversity
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
show. And so it's like, why not do a panel about that?
Yeah.
And let's talk about it. Let's see how it's affected the people
Yeah.
that watch the show, what the representation
Oh,
means
God,
to
yeah.
them, which I think is super, super important. Even for me as a 33-year-old mixed race woman, like seeing Black Panther, for instance,
Yeah.
I was like a kid in a candy store, and it really hit home for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's not many mixed race women in it, it hit home for me that, you know, representation really, really matters.
So
and I don't
matters.
think people understand
Yeah.
how much it does and how affecting it is. So I just want to have that conversation
Yeah.
and see how our fans feel about it, feel about the show, and our experience on it as well, and what it means
Yeah.
for us as actors. So
I feel like, and it's easy to do because of that's the way society's been. But it's taken for granted. We're
Yeah.
at our age, and so when I look in this environment, you mentioned the Black Panther. When I see that little 4-year-old kid out on the floor in a Black
mean,
Panther costume,
I well up.
that's where it goes. I'm like, this is why we do it.
Yeah.
This is why we need to have this
This is why we
momentum.
have to have it. And
Yeah.
it shows should represent the world around
I
us.
agree.
And we're one of the few shows that do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I said this in another interview, we represent normality in my
Yes,
in my
I agree.
opinion.
Yeah.
It's everyone else that isn't. So I'm just proud that we are in something that not only represents that, but also that's my sentiment as a human being.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that we get to do a
Yeah.
panel about that.
Well, that's awesome. That was a great moment. We have to start wrapping up though, and I warned you this was happening.
Okay.
We have random question here. This is our ice-breaking questions from the audience. I want Dom to just draw one out, hand it to me, and then I'll ask you both the question. This is
Okay.
on you though, so if it's a bad question, it's your fault.
Ah,
So
the
no pressure. No pressure. All right, let's see what we got here.
Orange, good color.
Good color. Your question is, what was your favorite thing to do as a child that you cannot get away with now?
Oh.
Being carried by anyone.
Oh.
I don't even think
Babe,
I
will
wouldn't be
carry you.
comfortable with anyone carrying me now
Right,
because
right.
I'm a very strong, healthy woman,
understand.
and that would just make me feel really uncomfortable. But that's something that I really liked as a kid.
Just feel like I'm tired. I don't want to walk here.
Yeah, I feel like I do
yeah.
feel like that a lot.
I relate with that.
My thing is like being in underwear most of the time,
Okay.
or like
Naked.
Yeah.
That doesn't change.
That
as an
doesn't.
adult.
Let's be honest here.
I mean, that doesn't change at all. You still do that.
We can still do that as adults in the
She's
comfortable
right.
spaces.
She FaceTimes me and she's like, "Why are you naked?"
I'm like,
I'm
you're so naked right now. She's like,
no, but I mean in front of people.
Right.
I
Just
mean,
out
yeah,
and about.
That doesn't count.
No, okay.
I mean, what the? Yeah, you're right. I'm lying.
That doesn't
I'm
change
lying
at
to
all.
you all. No, do you know what
Hear you.
though?
What you got?
I will say, I have this weird story where when I was a kid, I used to try and eat cotton wool balls. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore.
No.
I mean,
yeah, you couldn't probably do
No.
it back then
That would
either.
be weird. And I think that's the line. When you go back, you're like, that would
that
be
would
weird.
That would be weird.
That's the
I think
decider.
that's the line there. All right. So being
So
carried.
being naked is
and,
fine,
Yeah,
really.
being naked is fine. Don't eat marbles. Kids, don't eat marbles. So that's our rule. So I want to thank you guys so much for your time. You have a very busy
Thank you.
schedule, and I hope you have a blast at DragonCon. If I
Thank
see you
you.
again, if not, and just have fun this weekend and enjoy
Thank
it.
you.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you so much.
too.
And thank you, DragonCon.
Thank you, DragonCon. Bye.
Bye.